Welcome back, Fantasy Endgame fam, Fantasy Endgame baseball players, and happy Memorial Weekend for everybody out there. Thank you for all the sacrifices that have been made so that we can be here on a Sunday night to talk about something as incredibly important as two-star streamers for fantasy baseball for the next week. Pierre, baseball and Memorial Day kind of feel like apple pie in America here. So have you just been binging baseball all weekend?
It's just a great excuse as if you need one to watch baseball all weekend long. Oh look, I caught some of the games not yesterday, the day before. Friday I watched some, but yeah, happy Memorial Day, and of course, hopefully everybody enjoys the long weekend. I know some of you don't get to, but a lot of us do, so make the most of it. And look, the baseball season does not slow down for anything except for the All-Star break, but we're still a ways away from that. And look, I want to say I'm a little excited. I was digging in as always, talk about the best streamers this week. I like the crop of pitchers we're going to talk about this week. I just hope that maybe it's possible I actually get like maybe one of them in our league, because I have the bad habit of using all my waiver wire claims for the week before the week is over. So I have to wait till Monday and, try to pick one up before guys like you do in our league. But if not, oh well.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see which one of these guys you can get, and that's a great segue into our two-star streamers. And let's start with your number one two-star streamer of the week, Hayden Birdsong. I know everybody very excited for Hayden Birdsong, coming off a nice outing last time against the Royals, 5 scoreless innings, struck out 4, gets the Tigers and the Marlins. Now, the Marlins are they actually a good offense right now? What's going on with the Marlins?
Hey, well, let's slow down here. Let's not get carried away. Not horrible anymore.
All right, they're not horrible anymore. But Hayden Birdsong, your number one two-star streamer. Tell me why.
Yeah, so I think it only makes sense that if I mention someone as a waiver wire pickup, that if they're streaming 2 starts that week, they should be your top option. Not always. I mean, the schedule matters, but obviously Birdsong is somebody I feel like this is a time to buy into him because he's actually a starter now. So these 2 starts this week that he's scheduled for will be his second and third ever in the majors. So with that said, this is not a sure thing, right? I mean, any young pitcher, especially a guy who's getting his first shot in the rotation, things aren't guaranteed, but of course, all of these pitchers are on the waiver wire for a reason. So I like Birdsong's stuff. Everyone's waiting for this. He looked good in his first outing. My only concern with him is how far he'll go into games. 5 innings the first time. And I don't know how long it'll take before they really stretch him even to 6. 7 almost seems a little overly optimistic anytime real soon, because again, he's still getting stretched out. He was a long reliever all throughout April, basically, and then most of May. So he can do it. I mean, obviously, he's groomed to be a starter. So I would just say this week, probably going to have to expect 5 innings. 6 would be nice, but it would be the max. First start at the Tigers, not a great matchup. I think it's okay. Tigers are kind of slowing down. Marlins, yeah, he could probably go 6. So in a quality starts league, maybe a little less exciting, but I still think this kid has the stuff. He's worth picking up anyways, because I feel like he's got a pretty decent floor.
All right, well, let's go from floor to ceiling. A pitcher that a lot of people have had high expectations for, and he hasn't delivered yet. That's Gavin Williams. He's your number 2 two-start streamer. Now, the downside here is his first start is against the Dodgers, but then he gets the Angels. But here's the good news. 4 straight outings with 2 or less earned runs. And last outing against the Twins went 6 innings, only gave up 1 earned run, struck out 6. We know this guy has strikeout upside. That is not a question here. He's got 57 strikeouts in 48 innings. So is he finally putting it together? What do you expect against the Dodgers?
Well, that's the thing. Gavin Williams, how this goes. This guy has all the talent in the world to be, honestly, an ace for his team. He could be the top starter, but inconsistency, wildness, that's just his thing. And, we could blame some of it last year on injury, but we can't do that anymore. He's been fine all season, He's finally got the ERA under 4. Okay, so that's good. The WHIP is a 1.52. That's kind of frightening. And that's exactly what you worry about is he gets hit hard or he just has another bout of wildness. But what's nice, you mentioned the last few starts have been good. He's actually putting together some quality starts. But over the last 2 starts, including on the road against the Twins, who had been one of the hottest teams in the majors, only a total of 3 walks over the last 2 starts. That's what you want to see. The strikeout stuff is always there, 27%. So the only reason I didn't yet want to go out and say pick him up on the waiver wire and just add him and keep him because of the Dodgers. And I want to see it. I want to see it a little bit longer. I know it might be too late. If he's great against the Dodgers, okay, then you're all in. But I got to say, I'm a little worried about this. But still, as far as 2-start streamers go, he's got the upside to definitely dominate the Angels. And look, maybe he holds his own against the Dodgers because even in his last 4 outings where he's been rock solid, he's faced some good offenses. So this is, I think after this week, hopefully we have some sense of whether he's actually turned a corner.
Well, I'm gonna gamble on it. I already added him, so I'm gonna roll him out there and we'll see what happens. Now another young pitcher who has made 2 starts this year. That is Ryan Weathers, and they've both been against the Cubs, and apparently Ryan Weathers is the Cubs' father because in those 2 starts, he's only given up 2 earned runs, and he's stricken out 9 Cubs, 10 innings. One of the best offenses here, and he's just shut them down like it's nothing. Now he gives 2 of the worst offenses, the Padres, which, yes, on paper is a great offense, but, man, they have been struggling lately, and the Giants, not a great offense. So, Ryan Weathers, after dominating the Cubs in 2 straight starts, this just feels too good to be true.
Yeah, but look, when it's all said and done, at the end of the week, Ryan Weathers might be the best out of all these options in terms of performance. It was all over in the preseason. Told you to pick him up when he came off the IL. The only downside, he's only went exactly 5 innings each of those 2 starts. But again, they're going to slowly ease him back, after missing basically a month and a half. But you can't ask for much better. And like you mentioned, the Padres, usually a scary offense, but for some reason, they're just completely ice cold over the past week. They are the worst in terms of batting average, team average, and runs scored. It's hard to explain why. They just are. And then the Giants are 3rd worst. So he's rolling in against these West Coast teams at the perfect time. So I think he can definitely keep it going.
Yeah, definitely got to feel good about him. And then I guess you got to feel good about Ryan Nelson. Is that right? We got to feel good about Ryan Nelson. I mean, he's coming off a nice performance against the Dodgers. 5 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. Gets a great schedule this week. Pirates, Nationals. Those lineups don't scare you, even with O'Neal Cruz hitting absolute missiles. Now we're getting to the guys here, though, where the upside's a little lower. We're talking about a guy who's a little less than a strikeout per inning here. So good schedule this week, but what's the upside?
All right, so this is going to be my personal favorite pick. This is my sneaky pick of the week that I feel it could pay off big because nobody is really on him. So Ryan Nelson, you probably didn't know was a 2-start streamer because you may not have known he was even a starter anymore because, remember, he was not in the rotation at all until just now. He's kind of the odd man out there, but finally, mercifully, Eddie Rodriguez is on the IL and has lost his rotation spot, hopefully for good. And Ryan Nelson got it back. Look, he deserves it because if last year's second half of the season, he looked great. I mean, he really earned a spot in the rotation, but wasn't great in the spring. And again, just too many options here, veteran options. They decided to use him in relief. He didn't respond that well, honestly, this season. I wonder if it's on just a matter of like motivation. Just he was kind of bummed. He didn't make the rotation and, he didn't take well to being in the bullpen at first, but he did make a start. He limited the Dodgers to only 1 run. This guy in the second half of last year, Nelson, a 3.23 ERA, a 1.06 whip, and 26.6% strikeout rate. He has the stuff to be a pretty good starter, and he gets to face the Pirates in his first start, and then the Nationals, nothing too scary in his second start. So I'm going to try to quietly pick up Ryan Nelson in every league possible.
Well, it's going to be hard to do it quietly after this stream here, but,
Right.
we'll see what happens. Now, I like this guy this week for two reasons. Jameson Taillon, number one, we're talking about a guy who's gone 6 or more innings in 4 of his last 5, has a quality start in 4 of his last 5. And I love the schedule this week. He gets the Rockies on the road. He gets the Rockies at home, meaning the Rockies are on the road, so no fear about Coors Field there, and that lineup's awful. Then he gets the Reds at home, and the Reds apparently are like only good at home. The Reds only hit well at home. They're terrible on the road. Now, the downside here is this is a guy who's not going to give you a ton of strikeouts, only 44 strikeouts in 56 innings this year. But, man, feels like there's a chance for at least one quality start, maybe 2 in here.
Yeah, but honestly, it would be disappointing if it wasn't 2, because going against the worst team ever to exist, maybe, not even exaggerating, the Rockies are on pace to be the worst team in the history of baseball. Imagine that. And the Reds, this is one of those quirky schedule things where if both these games were on the road, you just would stay away because the 2 best hitter parks. But they're not. They're both at Wrigley, and these are 2 offenses that you want to stream against, and that's all he's done. Taillon is just racking up quality starts. He's got 6 on the season, 4 of the last 5. So his numbers aren't great, but that's kind of skewed by 2 really bad starts. That one out of those last 5 that wasn't a quality start, yeah, he got hit hard. And his very first start of the season, he didn't look good. But otherwise, he's been rock solid. So this is your very high floor play, especially if you're looking for a quality start.
Yeah, definitely. Very high floor there. And now let's go to a guy that I kind of was surprised he was as available as he is, although I don't think he's available in our league. And that is Taj Bradley. Gets the Twins and the Astros, which on paper seems a little scary. But he's got 6 quality starts on the season. But again, another guy not going to rack up the strikeouts here. So is this maybe a more risky floor than Taillon?
Yeah, it's funny because he also has 6 quality starts, but very different type of pitcher from Jameson Taillon. Bradley is one of those guys that just when you feel like you can trust him, he has one of those games where he just gets completely lit up and everything goes south. And then you drop him, you're annoyed, and then he goes on a roll again, has 2-3 really good starts, and then he gets blown up. And there's no warning, there's no reason. It's not the matchup. I think he got hit hard by the Marlins this year one time. You just don't know. So, there's no certainty here with Bradley, and the strikeout number is really surprising that they're so low because he can definitely do better than he did last year. Much higher strikeout rate this year, only 20% K rate to go with a 10% walk rate. Not ideal, but I'm not too worried. The Twins have been better, but in general, their offense is kind of slowing down as well. And the Astros, you got to remember, this is Astros team without Yordan Alvarez. So I think this is a good enough week where Taj Bradley, if he's available, I actually don't like him better than those other pitchers. Obviously, that's why I got him down on this list here. But, as far as 2 starts, he does have some upside.
Does have a little bit of upside. Now let's get to the last couple here. This is there's not a whole lot better here. But look, these guys actually kind of have some sneaky appeal this week, starting with Logan Evans. Gets the Nationals and the Twins. Nationals, not a scary lineup. Talked about the Twins. They've kind of been slumping a little bit here. And look, Logan Evans has been pretty good this year. You look at his last 5 starts, he's gone at least 5 innings in every start. Prior to his last start, he had given up 3 or less earned runs in every start. Now, again, you're not going to get a ton of strikeouts here, 21 strikeouts in 27 innings. But good matchups here, chance for quality starts, and shouldn't wreck your ratios.
Right. So again, getting riskier, but widely available. So there's that. Like Evans, he's a Mariners pitcher. I think I still have some trust in that organization. It just so happens every one of their starters has gotten hurt, but that's why Evans has a job right now up with a big club. But he's getting, to be kind of quietly reliable, hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in a start until his last start. And that's why people aren't really on him. But it was kind of odd because his last start should have been his best because it was against the White Sox, but it was his worst. But it was also his best for strikeouts. He finally figured out how to punch out hitters. 7 strikeouts. He just happened to give up 3 home runs, and he's not a guy who will typically give up that many home runs. So I think Logan Evans could be kind of a sneaky, good streamer if you need somebody.
All right, now let's talk about a guy I'm actually surprised to see him on here. I was eyeing him, but there's one thing that's probably going to hold me back. I'll tell you what's not going to hold me back from Randy Vasquez this week. That is the schedule. Marlins and Pirates. Again, Marlins have actually been scoring some runs, so I don't know how to feel about that, but I'm still not scared. Pirates not scared. But look, he's got 2 quality starts in his last 3. Yeah, he's coming off. I wouldn't even say it was a bad outing against the Blue Jays. He only went 4 2/3, but he only gave up 2 earned runs, did strike out 4. But that's the big issue here, right? He's only striking out more than 2 batters, in 4 games, 5 games all year? I mean, yeah, 27 strikeouts in 49 innings. This could be one of those like Jose Soriano streams for me last night where he strikes out 1 batter and gives me, like, basically it's like, why did I might as well start in nobody. Would have been more helpful. So, but the schedule's good, so there's a chance for quality starts.
Yes, definitely a chance. So Vasquez, yeah, you're getting almost no strikeouts. I mean, you might literally get no strikeouts. 1 and 2 if you're lucky. All right, but you need a quality start or a chance for a win. Now, of course, that would also mean that the Padres would have to start scoring runs again. But we're looking at the Marlins and the Pirates. It's the schedule here. Vasquez, also another pitcher that looked like you could trust, and then he got just completely lit up in 2 of his starts, but otherwise has been pretty dependable. So high risk. I can't say high reward, but maybe some reward.
Maybe. If he strikes it, just strike out somebody, right? Like, man, this is almost my second stream of the year where I got 0 strikeouts. I'm like, how is this possible? How is it possible to go 4 or 5 or 6 innings and not strike out a single batter? I had Jake Irvins did it to me earlier this year, like 0 strikeouts. All right, well, there you go. Those are the top 2 start streamers for the week, according to Pierre. Of course, those aren't all of them. Those aren't all the pitchers. Those aren't all the hitters. I'm sure you got questions about many other hitters, pitchers. In fact, I know you do because I see them racking up on the side. So let me just remind you real quick before we get to those questions. If you don't want to wait or you're feeling generous, you want to say thank you, you can drop a super chat and that will get you to the front of the line, kind of like your fast pass to the front of the line where you don't have to wait to have your question answered. Not a necessity, but if you want to do that, you're feeling generous, we appreciate it. And of course, you see scrolling right down here, maybe like me, your fantasy baseball team, you drafted a stacked team of hitters and none of them can hit. So you want other ways to get your fantasy fix on. Check out Underdog Fantasy right down there. Use promo code ENDGAME because that will give you a free pick that you can use right away. So at least you get a win on Underdog, at least the first time, and up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Not to mention, for those of you who play fantasy football, I know it's a lot of you, it's go time. There's a ton of drafts going on right now. So get in there, Underdog Fantasy. And I should also remind you, they also have their extender. So if you want to, take advantage of the end of the NBA playoffs here, they basically have a boost. Every game a series goes, they give you a bigger boost all the way up to a 100% boost. If it goes to game 7, meaning if you win your pick'ems, you get double your money. All right, let's get to it though. And let's start with our first question of the night from Raul Olivas. Wants to know, would you pick up Matt Shaw versus Colorado, or is that Brandon Lowe or Josh Lowe? I'm not sure which. By the way, Brandon Lowe, of course. This week, I debated Brandon Lowe or Max Muncy. I was like, and I picked up Max Muncy, and of course, Brandon Lowe goes off this week against me. All right, so Matt Shaw against Colorado or Brandon Lowe against Minnesota. And by the way, I don't think Max Muncy's glasses are helping him. This guy still sucks.
Yeah, it helped him for like a couple days, and I don't know. Maybe he needs.
I don't think it was the glasses. I think he just got lucky for a few days.
Yeah.
All right. But anyways, let's help Raul. Who you got here? Matt Shaw or whichever. Who plays Minnesota this week?
It's
Tampa
Brandon.
Bay or,
yeah, it is Brandon.
They're both
Lowe.
on Tampa Bay. Are they both on the Tampa Bay? So you don't even know which.
Wait, and there also could be Nate Lowe.
That's true. Which Lowe are we talking about here?
Well, actually, now that I think about it, I assume Brandon Lowe, but maybe it is Josh Lowe. You know what? Let's just make it easy anyways. I'll go with Shaw because
all right.
I like Shaw, and he's playing Colorado. I mean, that's reason enough. But yeah, I think you got to just pick up Shaw because he could just be a keeper from this point on. Brandon Lowe will have his ups and downs, which, by the way, the irony there is also that you had Brandon Lowe at the beginning of the season and you dropped him just to not pick him up. But anyways, that's the name of the game.
But he sat on the waiver wire for weeks doing nothing. But the only reason I thought about it this week is because who are they? They had a bunch of home games, and that Tampa Bay Stadium is like a friggin' minor league park. And I was like, oh, maybe Brandon Lowe is gonna start hitting, and he had kind of started to hit.
Right, he's kind of he tends to be mostly streaky.
Yeah.
But again, I'm buying into Shaw, buying in long term. I broke him down, I think, in 2 of my videos just last week. So let's just go Shaw.
All right. And then he also wants to know, he's got Ivan Herrera and Hunter Goodman. Would you drop Yanier Diaz in a 10-team points league if you have those guys? I guess
it's a 10-teamer. You don't have to be as patient. I mean, generally, I do still buy into Yanier, but maybe he's still going to be out there even if he does warm up. It's a points league. I guess you can do this. All
right. Thank you for the questions. All right, let's go to Keith. Not Weatherby's Keith Santiago. All right, got Ben Rice. He's got Ben Rice and Jonathan Aranda. Feels like it's time to move on from them. Isaac Paredes and Brendan Donovan are just sitting out there on the waiver wire. Are you dropping those guys to pick them up?
All right. Well, I was about to say Rice and Aranda are both guys I'm buying low, as you might know, because I talked about Aranda as a buy low last week and Ben Rice previously. Both have great quality of contact metrics. Both are in really good situations. The only aggravating thing being lefties, sometimes they'll sit against lefties. That's not unusual. I'm not picking up Brendan Donovan over those two. Donovan is nice. He qualifies a lot of positions. He's been doing well, but the ceiling is going to be limited, right? So no. Paredes, I still think he's a solid option. I mean, he's obviously going to give you some power. I don't know that I necessarily like him better than either of those. I think you definitely want to pick up Paredes if you've got to drop one of them. I guess I would do it for Rice.
All right, there you go. Thank you. And then Anthony dropping in to say, let me get it there. There it is. Remembering all those. Yes, the sacrifice to give us Memorial Day. Yes, thank you. So that we can sit here and talk about a game based on a game. Fantasy baseball.
But all right, it's America's game.
What's that?
It's the game. It's America's game.
It's a game based on America's game. Right? Isn't that a fantasy sport? Fantasy sports is a game based on a game, right? It's like a game.
It is.
It's like a game based on a game. It's kind of crazy. Like, how did we get here? But here we are, and it's awesome. All right, BZ24 wants to know, Max Mayer was dropped in his 12-team categories. Is he worth the number 6 waiver at?
So I'm not giving up on him long term, and I have still stashed him in a couple leagues, but I will also say I did drop him in one of my leagues. It really kind of comes down to the format. I mean, he looked good his last time out, and I like the fact that he's facing that cold San Diego offense this next time. So, the number 6 claim, like whatever, that's not something you got to like hold on to. I, again, don't know exactly how deep your league is, but sure, I'll pick him up if you need pitching help. I think it's worth it.
All right. Thank you. And then Adam, I assume talking about Marcelo Mayer, who was called up by the Red Sox, got 2 hits today, I believe, right? 2 hits today. Yes, 2 hits today. How long do you think he stays up?
He might not go back down if he keeps hitting the way he's capable of, and if Trevor Story keeps not hitting, then that's it. We're going to see the changing of the guard. So the answer is, of course, it depends. It depends exactly what he does. Do I think he's going to hit enough to stay up in the big club? I think I do. I mean, he's ready, right? Why wouldn't he be ready? So I think he's going to stay up. We never know what's going to happen. But, I mean, look, I liked Trevor Story as like a late round value, and he was so nobody remembers. He was so hot. The first 2 weeks, he was like the best hitter in the majors, and then he offset it by being extra cold for the next month. And if they just decide, look, we're going youth here and just go all out, Christian Campbell, Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, I mean, that's what everybody wants to see, isn't it? Maybe we just don't see these guys go back down.
All right. Thank you, Adam, for that. All right. Slayer Live PR wants to know, is Andy Pajas and Jorge Polanco worth holding on to?
Yeah, I mean, we knew Polanco would, meet some regression. I mean, he was crazy hot. He's still going to be solid, though. I think he's worth holding on to. And Pajas, yeah, I think as I had talked about with him, I'm not as convinced that he's necessarily going to continue at this pace. There are some numbers that suggest that he'll also meet some regression. Of course, he will. He's going to be streaky, right? Up and down, up and down. So I think that when he hits those cold spells, you can bench and just hold on to if you can afford it. And I would like to hold if possible, but again, depending on your league, if you got somebody better out there, I don't think he's an absolute cannot drop.
All right, there we go. And then Chris, what's up, Chris? All right, are we grabbing Logan Davidson of the Athletics? He's made 2 appearances. Today went 2 for 3 against the Phillies with a run, 2 RBIs. Is he worth holding on to? I guess worth grabbing. Is he worth grabbing? Are we buying into it? 27 years old. He's a 27-year-old rookie. Am I seeing this right?
He is. He's one of these. The A's made a lot of moves this weekend. And, why not? Rightfully so. They got a lot of moving pieces there. No, what I'm doing is I'm waiting for Colby Thomas to get called up. And look, if either Davidson or, just doesn't do much, or Denzel Clark just continues to not hit, then he'll get his chance. So Davidson's not somebody I'm chasing necessarily.
All right. Okay. All right. 27-year-old rookie. The chat is going off right now.
Oh,
but not a lot of it's awesome to see all the conversations, but makes it tough to find the questions. Trying to find the questions. Okay, here we go. Got the next question. Dylan Delay, what's up? Wants to know, you dropping Tyler Mahle to add Birdsong, Nelson, or Evans?
No. Look, Mahle's been so good. You shouldn't have to drop him. I've been calling him a sell high for like 3 weeks. I would think you can get something. He's been good for long enough. You should be able to get something for him. Sell him. I still think that even though everyone kind of knows, right, it's coming, like he's not going to be a Cy Young winner, you should be able to get something for him unless you happen to be in a very shallow league. But if you're in a very shallow league, I don't know that you should be chasing guys like Evans and Nelson. So look, he had one kind of disappointing start, but he's been so good. Try to sell Mahle for something.
All right, there you go. Yeah, don't just panic after one bad start. All right, Tim wants to know, with Michael King on the IL, are you picking up Miles Mikolas, the king of the please give me a quality start because that's all I can expect from you? And like he doesn't hurt your ratios, right? He's one of those guys. Like I streamed him many times last year. It's like, yeah, he probably won't kill you, but he probably won't really help you either. So you picking him up?
Yeah, that was in the past. He's been pretty much hurting you. Okay, well, he's been better this year, but no, come on, we can do better here.
Do better, Tim. All right. Maybe this is better. He's got a dynasty question. He wants to know, trade Bubba Chandler in a dynasty league that penalizes losses.
Ooh.
He's already got Skeens. It's head to head. All right.
Well, look, I don't want to go off on a tangent about how much I hate this as the rule. I mean, look, we're going to penalize the guy for what team he's on for not getting run support. I mean, wins are already such a sketchy stat because it's, anyways. Okay. Look, you can always trade. Chris, you know this in any sport. Sometimes the best time to trade a high prospect is before they ever make their debut, because Is it possible for their perceived value to get much higher? I mean, with Skeens, of course it is, because do we really are we sure that Bubba Chandler is the next Paul Skeens? Nobody's ever said that he's going to be, but even so, it could be much worse. I mean, he's a young pitcher. He could blow his arm out. Just reality. I would trade him. I'm fine with that. Just make sure you get comparable value because the hype here is so real. And I like Chandler. I've got him stashed. Look, I don't want to trade away somebody just for one category because, yeah, sure, he'll lose some games. But if he turns out to be really good, he's helping you with ratios, Ks, and everything else. But I still think you can do this, not just so that you get out from the thumb of the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, but also because you could get something maybe really good in exchange and alleviate some of the risk.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Tim. All right, Dylan has another question. How many closers are too many closers? It's got Iglesias, Duran, Clase, Helsley, and Williams.
Well,
all right. So are you going to try to trade or drop any of these to gain some starting pitcher value in a 10-teamer?
Yeah, look, Iglesias may not even be a closer much longer. So there's that. You maybe could drop him. I think you got to bench him at the very least. You got to keep Clase. I think you got to keep Helsley. I think you could trade Duran because he's got value, but he still kind of split saves, and you don't need all of them. So if you need some value, I would say, it's a 10-man. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people do need saves because you're hoarding all the closers. So
yeah, exactly. No one else has any saves. You win saves by default because nobody else has a closer.
Yeah. You're not getting anything. If it's Devin Williams, you're not getting anything for him. But I also said I don't want to drop him. So let's do this. If you can try to package Iglesias and Duran, do it.
All right, there you go. Thank you. And then Adam, different Adam though, wants to know in a 12-team category league rest of the season, who do you like, Shane Baz or Jackson Jobe?
Well, Baz finally didn't suck his last start, but I think we got to go Jobe now. Jobe has been more consistent. He's had a couple of bad starts too. I think Jobe is still just a better prospect overall. He's been more consistent. So I'm going to go with Jobe.
All right. And then Uwe 2K, what's up? Would you drop any of Gonsolin? Is that supposed to be Male or is that actually Mahler? And Waka for Weathers, Warren, Perez, or Birdsong?
Oh, I hope it's not Rick Mailer. Way too late for him. It's probably Molly. No, you can't. Why? See, this is what's crazy to me. Okay, no, nothing personal, you, because you're the second one who's mentioned Tyler Molly, right? Like dropping him. Tyler Molly on the season. Pull it up again. Okay, so on the season, Tyler Molly has a 1.80 ERA, 1.03 WHIP. He has been good. He's 5-2. He's been excellent in every start except for one. Guess what that one start was?
Yankees.
His last start. It was his last start.
Oh,
so one, and it wasn't even like he got like completely hammered or anything. It was just like not great, and it was like, we got to drop this guy. Like, come on, like we can't drop him. You can sell him if you want because he was always going to regress, but you can don't drop him. I would drop. You know what? The only reason I'm not picking up Warren is because his next start, I believe it's tomorrow. I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's in Coors Field. Or was that today?
But
it was today.
I don't even know if you have to be scared of being in Coors Field. I picked up Ryan McMahon for his 7 glorious starts in Coors Field. It doesn't matter if they can't hit.
Well, he wasn't great. He wasn't
great. Doesn't matter. They can't hit. They can't hit, so who cares where they're at? They can't hit.
He wasn't great today, but he just had his start. So, okay, let's make this short. Drop Gonsolin and Waka for Weathers and Birdsong.
All right, there we go. All right, Slayer Live. Going back to Jonathan Aranda, would you drop him now? Would you drop him for Nick Kurtz or Christian Walker?
All right. Well, now it gets a little trickier because I like Kurtz, and Walker's the one that's so confusing, really, because he's supposed to be like a set and forget, and he has not been good. Is he waking up? I think he just hit a home run. I just don't know if we want to give up on him for the rest of the season. I think I would still say Walker right now. So I want to keep Aranda. I mean, I don't want to drop him, but I think I would pick up Walker in case he does start to heat up. I mean, he had a great game today.
All right, there you go. And then UI2K, yes, we did fill that team in the end game league. Now I'm going to do whatever it takes to get Aaron Judge, even if it makes my team worse. I just want to correct the massive mistake I made taking Ellie De La Cruz over Aaron Judge, and I'm going to find a way to do it. even if it makes my team worse, I don't care.
It's never too late.
Ellie, I can't believe Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Right now, last year it was Julio Rodriguez. This year it's Ellie De La Cruz. Talking about young, hyped up players that everybody thinks is the next super duper star. You are all, I won't, but you are all going to overdraft Pete Crow Armstrong in the first round next year. I'm calling it right now.
Oh, I didn't see you going right there. I thought this was like an anti-Eliran, like you were going to trade him or something, but you go, okay.
Yeah, because he's going to have a great year this year. He's young, and everybody's going to be like, this is it. He's now a super duper star. Sometimes these young guys need a few years to get to that consistency level, and next year he's going to be like a top 5 pick. And he's gonna bust. He's gonna bust.
We're not going to discuss this here, but it's interesting. I'll just tell you this: in one of my leagues, it's a keeper league, not dynasty, but keeper. I got an offer. Somebody offered me 4 like young upcoming players just for Pete Crow Armstrong. One of them was Bubba Chandler. One of them was Sebastian Walcott, who's like 19 years old. Probably won't even play this year, but I could keep him basically for like a last round pick. And so now I got to think like, going to sell high, you know what I mean?
Well, I should also mention that I might be the worst fantasy baseball player on the planet.
No,
so there's that.
Definitely not. Trust me.
All right. UI2K. Who's a better ad? Chase Mydroth, Matt Shaw, Austin Hayes, or Zach Neto in categories?
I was gonna go Shaw, but then I saw Zach Neto there. You got to go Neto. He's been great. He's giving you power, giving you speed. I mean, maybe Shaw has better stats by the end of the year, but I'm not gonna deny the guy who has been doing it, and he has done it in the past. Last year, had a great second half. This year, as soon as he got activated, he's just been nothing but hot. So I'm definitely going Neto.
All right, there you go. All right, are you ready for your if old, maybe washed up pitcher ever returns? Do you think he'll be worth rostering? And we're talking about Max Scherzer from Anthony. If Max Scherzer ever returns, is he going to be worth rostering?
Well, I'm not as completely out on Scherzer as I am on like Verlander. I mean, that guy he's really just cruising along. He's just trying to pad his stats like for his Hall of Fame resume. I made the mistake. Well, actually, I can't call it a mistake. I mean, it's something I didn't intentionally, but you know how I can't get any of the 2-start streamers I actually want in our league. So I was like, Verlander's got 2 starts and he had a great schedule. So I picked him up a couple weeks ago and I regret that. So I'm not as out on Scherzer. I think he's still got a little bit left. So, but again, we're getting deep here. It's like if you need somebody, if it's a good matchup, I think he's worth streaming. I don't think he's worth keeping the rest of the season.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Anthony. All right, Dylan saying Jordan Westbrook just chilling out on waivers apparently, but it's either him or Neto, Zach Neto. Who you like better?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is where I can't just turn down the guy who's actively helping your team day after day and giving you help in every category for the guy who should have been and might be. I think you have to keep Neto. You just can't drop him.
All right, keep Neto. What about Zach Gallen. Is it time to drop him? 5.25 ERA on the season. Killing your ratios. Not getting quality starts. What do we do with him?
Well, calling the time to drop him was, I'm trying to think. Was it maybe a month ago? And I'm saying this in all seriousness because I did the very first time I did the cut list, because we had panic players, right? Every week, like panic level and what do we do? And I was like, okay, it's time. The cut list. It's been a month. Get rid of them. Move on. And the very first pitcher I talked about was Zach Gallen. And I told you that a month ago, and guess what? He's not gotten any better. And Marcus Semien, not getting any better. Willie Adames, not getting any better. Look, I know this is a name you feel like you should trust. He's not the same guy, right? He's not ancient. He's not Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander. He just doesn't have it like he used to. So I'm dropping him a long time ago. And waiver wire recommendations, any of the pitchers we talked about at the beginning of the show.
All right. There you go. Adam, in the 10-team category league, who do you like rest of the season? Jacob Wilson or Brendan Donovan?
Easy. Jacob Wilson.
Yeah, you know, I picked up Brendan Donovan like before the season, maybe early in the season.
He's been good.
He's been good, but it's just he's never great. That's the problem.
Right.
He's good. He's like consistently good. Like, oh, look, Brendan Donovan, like 2 for 4 with a run, 1 for 4 with an RBI. Like, okay. I mean, it's better than like what some guys give me, but it's like, oh man, come on, give me a little more. Give me a little more. But he's been good. But yeah, Jacob Wilson.
Jacob Wilson.
All right. Anthony, let's talk about not an old pitcher.
A young hitter.
Cam Smith has started showing signs of what brought him up to the show. Do you think he keeps it up? And should he now be rostered?
Yes, I do. And this is one of those things, if you like to dig deep into StatCast, he's made adjustments. His attack angle is a little bit different. The way he's approaching the actual batter's box, he's figuring it out. Yep, I think he's not necessarily due to explode or anything like that, but he has been quietly getting better. So pick him up.
All right, there we go. And then Uwe2K. This is giving your theory a thought. He's got Hader, Kloss, Weaver, and Scott as closers, but he needs holds. So you dropping any of them for Uribe? Or would you just add a starting pitcher like Ashcraft or Varla?
I mean, you don't want to drop any of those pitchers. Can you make a trade? I mean, somebody else might be in the opposite situation where they need saves, but they have holds. So I don't want to drop any of those guys. No. Ashcraft or Varland, no, I don't want those guys either. I like Uribe and I would like to pick him up, but if you have to drop somebody, it's got to be somebody else. But if you have too many saves, which is, again, a nice problem to have, then see if you can swing a trade.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Waking Up. It sounds like maybe, hopefully, possibly, Corey Seager. Here's what they said. Corey Seager could be activated on this homestand, which lasts, I think, all week. So anytime between Monday and Sunday, he could be activated. All right. If he finally is, and assuming he doesn't go right back on the IL like he did last time, who are you dropping to activate Seager? Rhys Hoskins, Brett Beatty, Matt Shaw, Ward, Michael Harris. Who's Ward? How come I can't remember Ward's first name?
Oh, Taylor Ward?
Taylor Ward.
All right. Taylor Ward has been crazy hot this week. Yeah, you need to activate Seager. Would it be wrong to, like, the day after he gets activated to say to go ahead and trade him to sell high?
Yeah.
Sell high because he actually played.
But here's the thing. It's like, this is what, like, I remember before I played, I know we're trying to get the questions, but I remember before I started playing fantasy baseball, people like Dollar Bill and other people who play a lot of fantasy baseball would say something to the effect of, like, any monkey can get lucky and win a fantasy championship, but to win a fantasy baseball, like, you really need to, like, it's more skill. But here's what I've learned about fantasy baseball is dudes just randomly, even good, like, outside of like Ohtani and Judd, like outside of like the absolute like best of the best, dudes will just be doing nothing for a month and then the next month, like, be like the natural, right? Like they're just crushing the ball, right? And like, so the thing with Seager, it's like, yeah, I don't like the headache of him always being hurt. But if I trade Seager, he probably stays healthy the rest of the year and hits 30 more home runs. And it's like, oh my gosh, what have I done? This is what, you know what I mean? This is what's frustrating about fantasy, about baseball. It's like, because it's such a long season, and it's such a, I think because it's such a hard game that guys will, and because fantasy baseball is every day. So when a guy is in your lineup going 0 for 4, 0 for 3, 0 for 5, 0 for 4, 1 for 4, 0 for 3. It's like, this guy sucks. This guy sucks. He's killing me. I got to get rid of this guy. He's killing me. But then once you get rid of him, 2 for 4 home run. You know what I mean? Then he heats back up. It's like, what the?
Well, the two things that every fantasy sport, but especially you talk baseball and football, have in common is, number one, the way to win really is not that different. Get that breakout player, the guy who has a monster season that didn't, like, I don't mean like, oh, I got Aaron Judge. Okay, fine. Like, you got a first round pick. Great. But the guy like the Pico Armstrong, right? Well, I'm trying to think. There's really not a pitcher, I think. Maybe Hunter Brown, who might, but the breakout player who just carries you in a certain category and avoid injuries. Like that's mainly it. Now, it's harder in baseball because you have to avoid injuries in like 20 different positions, not just like 5. Your starting pitcher, your relief pitcher, your other pitcher, every single, and because in a lot of baseball leagues, it's catcher, first, second, third, short, outfield, 5 outfielders, 3 outfielders, a utility spot, a corner infield, a middle infield. So it's just a lot of juggling. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure what that has to do with the question, but the answer is I would drop Beatty.
All right. The answer is drop Beatty. You know what? Last thing I'll say about fantasy baseball, because we do Underdog, we talk about best ball. Fantasy baseball was made for best ball.
Oh yeah.
Like, just draft your team and don't worry about the ups and the downs of the season. And at the end of the year, like it all balances out, and you know what I mean? The best team wins. And you don't have that daily of seeing like 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for, like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. But fantasy baseball is perfect for best ball. Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Slayer Live PR with another one. Which closer would you prefer for saves? Your boy, Jordan Romano, or Justin Martinez?
I got to go Justin Martinez, because now the competition is gone. AJ Puck was the closer. AJ Puck's not coming back anytime soon. He's on long-term IL, and Shelby Miller was just filling in. It's Martinez's job now. I like Martinez. Live arm, no dust on him anywhere close to him.
You just hate Jordan Romano. You hate him. You hate him.
Hate's a strong word.
All right, Jacob McDonald. Speaking of Corey Seager, Jacob Wilson or Corey Seager? Who you got?
Look, it's got to be Seager. I mean, obviously he does things that Jacob Wilson can't do, like hit lots of home runs. And look, if Seager gets hurt again, okay, fine. You'll say, well, it should have been Wilson. You cannot predict it. Look, Jacob Wilson last year got injured after his first game ever. He came up and got injured. So I know Seager has the injury risk, but still, the fantasy upside here is obviously Seager. Now, what you could do is, if you can only start one, is you start Wilson and then you trade Seager and you don't deal with the headache, because you can get probably more for Seager. Or you should be able to get more for Seager in the trade market. So that's usually the best solution when you can't decide who you like between two players at the same position.
And then I wish I had Adam's optimism here. When Seager is injured, you get to pick up another player anyway. Yeah, and they're terrible. I get to pick them up, but they're terrible. It's not like Aaron Judge just chilling on my waiver wire. Like, oh well, I guess I'll go pick up Aaron Judge. No, I got to pick up
Yeah, I'm gonna tell myself that. Like, if Aaron Judge goes on the IL, like, you lost a Judge, but you gained a Grisham. It's like,
yeah, you get to go pick up. I don't know, somebody not very good. And then this sums it up perfectly. Jorge Polanco, he's okay. It's done. He's terrible. You drop him, and he goes on a tear. I dropped Anthony Santander, and I'm just terrified of where he starts hitting like 5 home runs in 1 week or something. And I'm like, oh. But at the same time, you can't keep rolling him out there 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 4. It's like he's just killing you every day.
Okay, well, but that's a good point. Here's the difference. The difference is there will be players who, like, people will just legit forget we're good, and then like the last week or the last 2 weeks, even maybe they've been horrible, right? But then you forget the 2 weeks before that they were great, and you're just like, oh, this guy's done nothing. Guess what's going to happen, right? It's up and down, it's up and down. When a guy has been consistently bad all season, the chances that they're going to turn it around are different. Like Santander hasn't been good at all since this year started, like at all. And it's a different team. And it's a different year. It's, you know, it's you got to, you know, kind of separate the here and the now from, you know, what has been going on. It's different for every player. You know what I mean? When a guy like Tyler Mahle, he's been great every game, and he has one bad start, like it was Spencer Schwellenbach. And I hate to say it, but actually I don't hate it. I told you. Everyone's, oh, what's wrong? Spencer Schwellenbach, this guy sucks. What did he do today? He had like 11 strikeouts, something crazy. And guess what? He looks like Spencer Schwellenbach. He looks like the guy that you drafted. So if you're dropping somebody because like 1 or 2 bad starts, when he's been good aside from that, you know what? Then you're kind of asking for it.
All right. And then I do have to say, I think F actually has the secret to any fantasy sport. Just pick the best players. Make good picks.
That's what we always say. We figured this out a long time ago. If you pick the best players, then usually you win.
All right. And then are you ready for our first super chat? I think you might know this person. Belma's Essence just wants to say thank you for putting in hard work for all of us. Dare I say, is she super chatting with your money? Your next copy is on her. So there you go.
It's like coming out of one wallet and into the same. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Belma. Good to see you. All right, where were we at? I'm having fun tonight. This has been fun. I need the fun because the pain in my fantasy baseball team is gonna make me cry.
So that's like I'll say I think the number one fan of this channel is my mom, because she watches every single one, because she does. Hi, Mom. Love you. But then close, the 1B is right there. It's Velma.
My mom watches her. She always texts me, I just watched your whatever video. Oh, my gosh, it's so good. Thanks, Mom. All right, back to the questions. Ryan wants to know, should he add Dustin Peterson?
No.
I mean, how about this? Come on. Add Austin Hayes?
Do what?
Add Austin Hayes?
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I'm looking at my screen. Austin Hayes? I mean, yeah, you can add Austin Hayes. I don't know if you're dropping anybody or how deep your league is, but he's still worth adding.
All right. And then let's go back to you, Darvish. Any ETAs on when he might be back? I
don't have any intel here, but I did talk about picking him up last week. So it could be, they're saying it could be sooner than we expect, not very long rehab. So, I mean, it could be within a week, possibly. All
right. There you go. Now, Tim's saying he's got Rhys Hoskins at first base. Would you drop him for Christian Walker or Xavier Edwards, Doyle, or Atlas Garcia? Hasn't Atlas Garcia been terrible too?
He's been terrible, and so I benched him, and then he hit a home run. You know how that goes. Yes. I just bought low on Britton Doyle. I traded in our league with Andrea, and I'm hoping it turns out to be a good decision. I think it will be. I find this hard to say to drop the guy who's been better. I think Christian Walker could potentially go on a binge, but it's not guaranteed. I don't think I would drop Hoskins because he's been good pretty much all year. Xavier Edwards, he's hurt. You don't have to stash him. All he does is get you steals, basically. I mean, if you're dropping Hoskins, well, that's the thing, is you got him at first base. If you're dropping him for like Doyle, who are you playing at first base? I guess that's my question. But I would try to stash Doyle if you can.
All right. Thank you, Tim. And then we got another super chat from Anthony saying, I need to play Roto. Is he right? Do I need to play Roto?
I don't know if you like it any better. It's it makes it feel more like a marathon. At least with the weekly thing, it like chops it up into kind of digestible pieces, and Roto is just like, yeah. The one thing I don't like, the reason I did with our league, the weekly head to head, is because even though I'm a fan of Roto, just realistically, by mid-season, there's some teams they're just out. Like, you're done. There's no chance you're gonna win the whole thing. Like, you may get better, but half of the teams, well, not half. Okay, but there's a couple of teams who are just there's no way they're gonna win. You know what I mean? And so then that demotivates teams.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. All right, so Jacob, remember back, he asked about Jacob Wilson and Corey Seager. So he said he was offered a trade where he gets Corey Seager. They give him Corey Seager. He gives up Jacob Wilson and Hunter Goodman. Then he's saying if he gets Seager, he could pick up Baldwin or Ramirez to replace Goodman. Are you doing this? Is this
Yeah, replacing a catcher, especially like a Goodman, that's not a problem. Get Seager for Wilson, basically. I would do it. I think if you're asking me if I would rather have Jacob Wilson, Hunter Goodman, or Corey Seager and either Baldwin or whatever catcher in a week, yeah, I'll take Seager. I mean, sure, the injury risk is still there, but that's with every player.
Yes, that is with everybody, sadly. All right, Uwe 2K. What's that? Yeah, more so Seager. More so Seager, though. It was so frustrating. He came back and he had like 2 home runs. Went 2 for 3 with 2 home runs. I was like, all right. And then he went. I'm like, how did you get hurt? You only hit 2 home runs.
He's just special. That's all I can say.
He's special. I just imagine Corey Seager being like one of these guys that just like shows up. It's like in my head, he like shows up, hits a home run. Like, all right, guy, I did my part. I'm out. I'm taking some time off. I came here. I hit 2 home runs. I don't know what's wrong with the rest of you. I'm taking some time off. All right, Uwe 2K. Do you have any worries about Ben Rice? Is he gonna lose playing time?
I don't think he's going to lose playing time. I'm not sure why he would. So, no, I'm not too worried about Rice. Again, great start. Gotten cold. He'll heat back up.
And then I just want to throw this up. Will Warren is a K factory, and he's been awesome. But you know what else is frustrating? When your pitcher, when you are tied in quality starts, and your pitcher is dealing through 4 innings, and then the rain comes.
Yeah. And he was on pace for a good start again, even though it was in course. I still started him. I wasn't worried about that, like you said, because it's still the Rockies. Like, it doesn't matter, where they're playing. It could be on a mountaintop. They still couldn't hit you too much. No. But, yeah, Warren, I think, has shown that he is legit. But the only thing someone asked about adding Warren earlier is he just pitched today. You're not going to get another start out of him until, Friday? So that's the only thing.
Yeah. All right, Cadzilla.
What is that car there?
Cool looking. Is that a Cadillac?
I think that's a Cadillac, like souped up.
I think so. It's like the Cadillac emblem on the front. All right. Anyways, does Jack Caglione get called up in June?
I don't think so. I think it's still a little aggressive. He just got promoted to AAA. He's got to still hit at that level and prove that he can. I mean, we're just assuming he will, and I think he will. But again, it's not a foregone conclusion. So if he rakes late June, maybe. But I think realistically, let's assume it's post All-Star break.
All right. And then Durf Boy has a trade question and a super chat. Thank you, Durf Boy. Appreciate you. Would you trade Bryce Terang for Jose Altuve?
I mean, I'm not sure what you're gaining out of that. Altuve is not what he used to be. Terang wound up being a great value again this year. You're definitely getting the edge in stolen bases for sure. Look, Terang is not going to get too many home runs, but Altuve is also not exactly ripping it up. I'm just going to keep Terang.
All right, and then would you drop Bubba Chandler for Mackenzie Gore?
Yeah, if Mackenzie Gore's on the waiver wire, you got to pick him up.
Pick up Gore. All right. And then Cadzilla saying that is his Cadillac. All right, nice. CTSV, very nice. Very nice. All right. And I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. Speaking of 2 home runs, is Ronald Acuna officially back?
Yeah, I think he's as back as he's going to get. Now, the only thing is, we'll warn everyone, and you should know, he's probably not going to be stealing too many bases these days. There's no reason for them to send him running wild. So it doesn't matter. I'm still one of the best hitters in baseball. But yeah, just don't expect, 30, 40 steals here on out.
All right. And it looks like we are caught up on the questions right at the hour mark. Look at that. Right at the hour mark. Appreciate everybody on here. It was a ton of fun as always. Appreciate everybody being on here on this holiday weekend. Hope you're all having a great weekend. Have a great Memorial Day. Don't forget, tomorrow we got Panic video. What are we doing tomorrow? What's coming out tomorrow?
Well, I've been doing keep, trade, cut because we got to give actionable advice, right? So you can panic, but if you panic, what does that mean? Like, okay, this guy's been, killing my team. What do I bench him? Do I hold on and pray? I mean, you gotta figure out what to do with these guys. So at this point in the season, I'll just say this: you got to make those hard cuts. If guys are struggling, it's been almost 2 months. I mean, we're getting there, almost June. Believe it or not, can't believe it. Sometimes you just got to let it go. The name value, where are you drafting them? It doesn't matter. So sometimes you got to make those cuts. Sometimes you got to make these trades. You don't have to cut a guy if you can get something for him. Or sometimes you just hold on and don't do anything because they could get better.
All right, so check that out tomorrow. Keep, trade, cut. And then, of course, beat the breakout on Tuesday. Buy low on Wednesday. And speaking of Wednesday, we'll be back here on Wednesday to catch you up on what's going on for the week and get your questions answered for the rest of the week to help you take down those W's. As always, guys, appreciate every single one of you being on here. Always a ton of fun chatting with you, answering your questions. Appreciate you. And, of course, if for some reason you're checking this out for the first time and you're like, hey, this is kind of cool, I like these guys, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell notification so you know when we go live, so you get all the videos. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend if you have the day off tomorrow. And we'll see you back here on Wednesday.